Hey, kitchenettes. I think I look tired. I got some good sleep today. I was sitting here in the car and I was thinking, yesterday I felt like I wasn't tired, but I was tired. Like I could sleep. So I wasn't physically at the point where I wanted to fall asleep. I wasn't at the place where I couldn't keep my eyes open while driving or functioning. But I could sleep. I didn't get it. I also felt like I've been waiting for the other shoe to drop. Waiting to get that exhausted again. A year, maybe 2 years ago, 2 years ago, definitely. A year ago, struggling. But 2 years ago, I would be driving a 10-minute drive and could not wait to get to my destination so I could take like a 5-10 minute nap before I got back on the road because I was so exhausted. I couldn't sit still without falling asleep. I would get home from dropping off the baby from school and fall asleep. And it was rough because if I'm correct, I wasn't working. I was working part-time. I had 2 part-time jobs. And I would give away shifts. Because one job allowed me to, as long as my shift was covered, my job was covered. I wasn't full-time yet. Because when you're full-time, you had to maintain a certain amount of hours for the year. So you could play with it. That was definitely some maneuvering to make sure I was getting enough days, but still not going in when I wanted to. It was a nice gig. That freedom, amazing. When I was part-time, as long as my bills were covered, I didn't worry about going in. And I was just so tired all the time. I would go to work, and one of them was like an hour drive away, and I would make it, sleep in the parking lot for a little bit, go in, and be dragging. And once I got into it, it was like a little bit of a pump of energy, I guess adrenaline. And so I think I've been waiting to feel that exhausted again. But I look really washed out right now to me. And so I couldn't figure it out yesterday. I was just like, I'm so tired, but not tired. And so as I was driving today, as I got in the car and I was just contemplating, I guess, life, it hit me that the issue is that I'm waking up at night. It just seems so foreign. And I've been doing this for about 2 years now. Where is it? A year and a half, maybe. Because I started the Thanksgiving before. Well, I didn't work at Thanksgiving, but I was definitely working by Christmas. And I was there for New Year's, so it's the second year, so about a year and a half I've been doing this. And last year I was just dragging. I would go to work and I don't know how I made it through work. I couldn't tell you. And we had a car accident, and part of it was due to my exhaustion. Because your reflexes are just slower. I was just, as a matter of fact, while I was driving, her to school every day. I was like, one of these days I'm just gonna have an accident because I'm just so tired. And then it happened. I was like, it's my fault because I spoke and took sisters, but I was just so tired all of the time. And all I did was sleep. Now, I do sleep a lot. And it's not really a lot. It's the 8 hours, kind of. 6 to 8 hours a day is what I'm getting, right? Sometimes 4, depending on what we have to do. So I'm not oversleeping, really. I'm just sleeping in shifts and tired because I'm working overnight. I promise you that juicing is helping with that and not being as depressed. And I don't really think I am depressed. I think I'm a little sad sometimes. It just kind of hits me. Not depressed the way I was 2 years ago. Not that. Because I feel like that had something to do with the sleep and the possible narcolepsy. But I don't know that one for sure or not because I wasn't able to do the sleep study. And my mom was like, it doesn't make sense that you sleep as much as you do and you're tired the way you're tired. Like Saturday, I went out, took the baby to her event. She had a trip. She loved it. It was the Jessie-Ayo thing where they go into a tube and they fly. And she had a good time. She said the air hurt a little bit though. I would have never too big to do it. But I lose a few more pounds. But I took her early in the morning. I had to drop off some Girl Scout cookies. But before I did that, I fell asleep for at least an hour. I was actually surprised I had slept that long. It was not too hot in the car. I had the windows down so there was no air coming through. It was early in the morning. It was perfect temperature for an outside nap. If I had my hammock, I would have been even happier. So I did that. Then I dropped off the cookies. I didn't sit in the car there. I drove to Bed Bath & Beyond and sat there. I didn't sleep. I just didn't feel motivated to move. I was feeling really down on Saturday. I feel like I get depressive episodes, like it comes in waves. And that's possible because of the borderline personality disorder. My mood could shift like that. Whereas with the bipolar or irregulated bipolar, you can kind of have that also. And so the combination makes it difficult. With regular bipolar, which very few people have, apparently. Not very few people, but more people have. A lot of people have the irregular one. You have like weeks of sadness. I think it has to be like at least 2 or 3 weeks of like consistent sadness. And from the depressive episode, you can go into mania. I think it's more that you have mania, and mania has to last for a couple of days. Like where you're not sleeping and you're hyperactive, and not sleeping is a big part of it. It feels like you actually become delusional a little bit from not sleeping, and you can't always gauge your weaknesses. It's like you're on something. And I've only kind of had a manic episode like twice, and I don't really think they're really that manic, but the lack of sleep was something that was there. And you just feel, and there's more to it. Like you can go into psychosis where you're starting to hear things and see things because you haven't slept. Your mind is playing tricks on you, and it's this crazy thing. Mine have been mild, but from that, I think, from the not sleeping, you go into a depressive state. Because I don't think it's the reverse. But when everything's happening, it's hard to figure out. When you're bipolar or you're regular depressed, when you're BPD, borderline personality, or irregular depressive, bipolar, it doesn't, after your sadness and your manic, when you have the other one, the regular one, that doesn't seem to exist much for me, you have ordinary time. It can be 3 months, it can be a year before you have another episode. You're just fine. You function. And so I never get that. And it's because of the irregularity of it and the BPD. Because of BPD, your moods can change like that. Anything can trigger a change in feelings. And it's frustrating because for me, it's not always that something sad happens or stress happens. It can be something good, and that can be depressing. And it could be that you're waiting for the other shoe to drop and you're just not comfortable and good. You don't know how to handle good. But it's a lot of mood swings and other stuff. Like, it's hard to handle relationships. And of course, because you're having mood swings all the time, who wants to be around that? I mask really well, unless you're close to me. If you're really close to me, you will see the shifts. And with people you're really close with, you're not always that nice to them because you just assume they're not going to be there. You have this constant fear of abandonment. And you can be fine with strangers because there's no attachment. But you also have unrealistic attachments to people that you may have just met because you clicked. You ever click with somebody and like the conversation's vibing, you guys understand each other, they get you. That's what understand each other means. And you feel comfort and all that good stuff. So it clicks. We're grown ups, we've been there. When that happens with us, with BPD people, you then begin to create this unrealistic expectation of the relationship being more than what it is. Because it could have just been that you met a stranger and for the moment things worked out and that's nice. Or you met a new friend, which is really nice, and it just clicked from the beginning and it created something beautiful. For us, we do like an all or nothing, and it's heavy on the other person. And you put all these expectations on a relationship. Anyway, all that was said to say that I woke up and it's sunshine right now, which is also a little weird. But you feel different in the sunshine. I think you've got like serotonin flowing through you a little bit more. When you wake up at night, it's like waking up on a gloomy, rainy day for those of you who don't wake up at night. You feel like, I just shouldn't have to get out of bed. Like, this is perfect sleep, snuggle, watch a movie weather. Or if it's like super cold and now you have to get out of bed and it's so warm and you're like, ugh, like, I am in the perfect position right now. Why would I want to get out of bed? When you're getting out of bed at night, it just doesn't feel the same. Even though you've slept enough and you're rested enough, it just feels wrong. Your body, there are people who are night people and they say that's like as hunters and gatherers way back in caveman time. You know, maybe not, so maybe a little bit past caveman time when we started villages and stuff. Most people stayed up during the day and farmed and gathered and all that. and then you had a select that would stay up at night to make sure you're protected from stray animals, other tribes, whatever. And so they have a gene that makes them more apt to be up at night. But for the rest of us, in this new day and age where we're going like 24 hours a day, we were never meant to function that way. And so our body never truly adapts. You actually lose like a year of life the longer you do it. And I was like, that could be it. That it's just so hard working overnight. I like that where I work, part of the warehouse is kind of dim lit, and no matter what time you're in that building, it looks like night. But where I work, it's the break area. And even across the street, like where I used to work, it was a cafeteria. And the lights were bright, like fluorescent bright. And I think that really helps with that brightness, that imitation of sun, where you don't feel as druggy. So like once I'm at work, it's a little bit easier. Now, last year with the depression and everything, I was struggling. Now, with the depressive treatment that I took and the juicing, I feel like I can function and be up my whole shift and take her to school and be a little tired on the ride. Every so often I have to park and sleep before I go back home, but not as much as I had to before. There's a difference, but there's still this kind of underlying tiredness because it's overnight. It's a little hard. I guess I just wanted to share, like, if you go through the same thing, like those who are working overnight, if there's anyone, if you feel like this underlying tiredness because of the time of day. Yeah, I think that was the point of this. But there was a lot said. I've come a long way in the past few years, and I'm really excited about that. But it's still like a little bit of a struggle, and I think that's just a natural struggle because of the shift that I'm working. It's nice to be up in the sunshine time. Anywho, I'm getting a little person. She's getting in the car, so I'll chat with you later. Love you, kitchenettes. Bye.